The Nigerian political scene has continued to experience violence and thuggery, which has affected Nigerian democracy process. As a result, this menace has become detrimental to democratic sustainability in the Nigerian politics. It is on this basis that we shall be looking at the consequences of thuggery and violence during election on the program. With me in the studio, I have the Executive Director, Proactivism International, in person of Dr. Luka Meilumo. So you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
And then also joining me on the program is a political analyst in person of Alhaji Sabo Ibrahim Kebur Jos. You're also welcome to the program.
Thank you.
And I am Saadat Muhammad Kafa. Welcome to the program Political Matters. And starting with you, sir, what is political thuggery?
Thuggery is the act of forceful acquisition of a desired target or anticipation, mostly riding through the youthful exuberance of our youths.
All right. Thank you very much. Do you have anything to add? Talking about thuggery.
Yeah. Well, thuggery in politics is unwelcome development.
Okay.
Let me be honest to you that it is the elites are responsible for the recruiting and training of thuggery for their selfish political interests.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. And still staying with you, so what are the major causes and effects of thuggery?
Well, the causes of thuggery, some scholars are referring it to unemployment, poverty, but that is not only the causes of political thuggery. In the first place, the selfish politicians who doesn't have the capability to aspire and get what they want from the populace. They now introduce thuggery so that they can go around, intimidate people, harass people, snatch boxes just for their own selfish interest.
All right.
So the causes of thuggery are too many to mention.
Okay. Okay, coming to you, sir. Do you want to add anything to that? The causes?
The main cause of thuggery is absence of trust, absence of a clear vision, a better tomorrow. So in the absence of that, people use their might to get what they want. And what brings about that kind of vision is political ideology. Now that political ideologies are scarce, you found out that trust is lacking. One could leave, they come from one party to the other and be given flag bearer in that party. That's the main underground cause of political thuggery.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Most of these acts are mostly carried out by youths. In your opinion, what seems to be the problem? Since mostly there are youths who are involved in all this snatching of ballot boxes, intimidating people, and the rest.
Yes, the youths might be poor in education, may come from poor background, and were exposed to international community. You watch whatever media, you know what is happening in the advanced world. And you feel you have the right to enjoy it here. And you feel the economy is okay, the nation has everything, but how comes it is not getting to you? And maybe you qualify for something you are not given. So they decide to use their might to get their way. They feel nobody can stop them from getting whatever they can. So if they have alternative, they resort to the alternative to get there. And that's why some go to Boko Haram, some go to kidnapping. It's the same reason. But the bottom ground is no clear picture of tomorrow. For people to trust.
Okay, but why is it that youths are mostly involved in these acts?
Yes.
Youths. Right.
There's a level of ignorance, and they are the ones that have the might. Thuggery takes might. You can't expect an elderly man to go and how many kilometers can he run? Cannot carry heavy things. They are the ones, and then they will be promised. They are promised better future. So those politicians promised them heaven and hell. So they go ahead trying to transform their lives overnight because they don't believe in process, they don't have the knowledge of, and believe that process takes people to wherever they want to go.
Okay. Yes. All right. Coming to you, Alhaji Sabo.
Thank you.
Why is it that youths are mainly involved in this act of thuggery?
Well, like I said, youths are vulnerable.
Okay.
And the politicians, they look at the youth as a tool to use for their own interest against any person opposing them in the contest.
Okay.
But it's not that they promise them heaven and earth. What they normally do, they give them just a talking fee and illicit drugs. They will now tell them, okay, this is what I want you to do on so-so date, at so-so time. And the youth, they are set for that. The moment they go out, they execute what they discuss with their political master. And I'm telling you, because of this our African democracy, most of the politicians, they can't do without political thuggery until and unless something is done. The youths involved, their masters, all they should be penalized. Otherwise, political thuggery will continue as long as democracy exists in Nigeria.
All right. Thank you very much for that. And sir, coming to you, you earlier made mention of lack of political ideology among politicians. Yes, and vision. What else do you think politicians need to do, aside from maybe involving youths to carry out this political thuggery and violence during election period? What do they really need to do?
You see, democracy is a game of brains. It's a game of brains. You can only come up with an integrated economy when you invest in brains, research. Every political party should have a research department, a functional, practical research department. So when a politician go contesting or presenting his manifesto, he should talk about what he has, where he's getting to, and then the stages to get there. Let the political debate be based on that. If a politician gets to be chairman of a local government, and then he has ideas to implement, he will exhibit the time and everything to execute them. Then he will keep a good name. He will prefer that good name than when he didn't perform. By the time he comes out, he fences his house, a big fence and the rest, and buys big dogs and put there. So when you're passing by his house, I remember this man was a former local government chairman. The only thing that showed that he was a former local government chairman is that big fence and the dog back in the house. But if he had ideology, he had the picture getting there, he would have translated, and then his name would ring in the hearts of the citizens. And it's better paid than those material acquisitions.
All right. Yes. Thank you very much. Alhaji Sabo, do you want to add to that? What do you think politician needs to do?
Well, first and foremost, every politician must have to imbibe the culture of politics of today and drop the politics of yesteryears.
Okay, sorry, what do you mean by politics of today?
The politics of today, all over the world, people are becoming so enlightened, doing the needful, and people doesn't look at election as a do or die affair. In every election there must be a winner and a loser. But the good thing, if the election is conducted under free and fair atmosphere, the loser will accept it in good heart. But when the election is being rigged, thuggery involved, I don't think the loser will accept it in good faith. Let's start doing the needful and drop the bad aspect of the politics and begin to do the good things. And there is this enlightenment. which government must have to create a machinery that will embark on enlightenment campaign and awareness. The politician too must have to know what is expected of them. Likewise the youth.
Right.
I think if we can start to encourage such, well, by God's grace, the ideal team will come to start.
What's your take on that? Looking at unemployment.
Where there is no vision, the people perish. So the only vehicle for development, for people to have bread on their table, is through proactive politics.
Okay.
No proactive visions, no progress, no unity, no peace. So this is not just a Nigerian challenge, it's a global challenge.
Okay.
Even the major political ideologies, liberalism, socialism, and conservatism, they are short. They can't handle the over 7.2 billion people on earth today. They need improvement. And we have been emulating those dimensions. We've been playing emulative politics. And anything you copy somebody, there's a limitation. So we have come original and source our own, we can continue and break the trend. So now we are confused, we are copying, there is stocked, and then we are here stocked. And these people know what is good, but they can't get there. And then there is corruption, there's injustice, inequality, and all those things. So people resort to using their mind to get what they want. And that brings anarchy. Yes, and that is the problem democracy came to solve in the 20th century. Between 1900 and 1945, there was First and Second World War. It was because of scarcity. And only Albert Einstein's relativity equation, E equal to M squared, solved it. There was transfer of energy from one form to the other. That was what brought remedy, and then hope came up. And then everybody shielded his sword, and then began to strive to make impact in the new world that was possible. But now the challenge is poor distribution of income, globally. So the political ideologies can't meet it. And that ideology today has to emphasize on speed of delivery, the speed at which you deliver your programs or projects. So it can cope with the global system. And that is why the digital dimension is there. And since the digital dimension, that's the computers and the rest, it should reflect the leadership concept. The leadership should go digital too. So the populations are there, let their distribution be fine. Then there will be equity, justice, and fair play in this dispensation. Yes.
Okay, you were making reference, we're comparing politics of the yesteryears and now. How do you see the politics of today, looking at the one of yesteryears?
Yes.
How do you?
The yesteryears one were okay because they solved their problem then. Are you getting me? The problem of scarcity, and technology can solve the problem of scarcity. So E equal to MC squared, relativity equation by Albert Einstein solved it. But today is poor distribution of income. Some people have more than enough. Some people don't have anything. Some countries have more than enough. Some don't have. And they have to thrive. So what remedy, and then the remedy to poor distribution of income has to come through leadership concepts, which is democracy or political ideologies. So we need ideology in that direction globally. Globally.
Thank you very much. Yes. Coming to your energy, what are the consequences of political violence, especially to Nigerian democracy?
Well, the consequences is open for everybody to see. Because like my friend there said, he mentioned anarchy. One of the consequences is the anarchy. And when there is anarchy, then probably, may God forbid, there won't be a Nigeria anymore. So until the causes is checked, stopped at the right time, then prepare how to forge ahead in an ideal way. That's why I said there is the need to sensitize both the youths and the politicians. Let me take you back. When Professor Humphrey Nwosu was the chairman of NEC, at that time, some politicians were expelled totally from politics. That is Babangida introduced a new breed politicians. A new breed, you cannot aspire to any office, you must pass through thorough scrutiny.
Okay.
The police, the DSS, and what have you. They have to scrutinize you to know who you are.
Okay.
They will go down to your community and get your information because they want to have people with clean slate to participate.
Okay.
And all those old politicians were sidelined out of politics. You see, that time things begin to augur well.
Okay.
Had it been that institution was sustained to this moment, sincerely speaking, there won't be all this nonchalant attitude of the so-called politicians.
Okay.
So I think let's government start to do the needful, and not government alone, all of us.
Okay.
It's a collective responsibility.
Exactly.
We must all put our hands on deck to see how we can salvage this country. In salvaging this country, it's not only political thuggery, but the politicians also. There must be a kind of an introduction or orientation course for the politicians too, who are willing to aspire for any political office.
Okay.
Let them know what they are after. Because you can't just come from nowhere and start to aspire for political office, just bring youths, give them illicit drinks, send them to go and launch havoc on people. I don't think that will help this country.
Okay.
So let's start somewhere and then we'll get to somewhere.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do you want to add anything? Consequences, talking about the consequences of thuggery and violence.
There are grave consequences, just as you rightly said.
Okay.
If it's not checked, there will be no Nigeria tomorrow. There will be killings and the rest, more than what we are seeing.
Okay.
Yes, but I learned an ear to what Mandela said. He said, Africa will only be respected if Nigeria gains her respect in the global community.
Okay.
And I heard a preacher from Ghana saying it the other day. He came to preach in Nigeria and he was emphasizing that unless they are all looking onto Nigeria. If Nigeria gets it right, then the rest of Africa will get it right.
That's right.
Yes. The way to get it right in democracy, fundamental human rights thrives on the rule of law. The rule of law thrives on democracy. Democracy thrives on political parties, and political parties thrive on political ideologies.
Okay.
That's the way out. I went through this book titled The China Strategy. You see the speed at which they are developing. It's because they have ideologies on ground. It's when you have ideology that like in one word now, how many polling units are there? In one local government, how many wards? There's need to bring this leadership to the grassroots. We will closer to the people. And it is all ideology that can solve these challenges. By the time you get one strategic ideology, you see all the problem go handled.
Okay.
When the relativity question came up equal to MC squared, it looks so simple, but it handled everything. Most of the time when we have choke challenges like this, there's one strategic remedy that don't get it. And we must not only look at the advanced world alone. Albert Einstein was in Zurich, Switzerland, when America spotted him. When they came up with peaceful history of advanced systems in New Jersey, they were spotted because he was saying he has discovered the speed of light. So they were looking for brains like that. So democracy, they bring more genesis, brains, put them together and they bring remedy.
Okay.
Yes, and we have a lot of them in Nigeria. Everybody knows we have a lot of human endowments in Nigeria. Why don't you harness it rightly?
Okay. Thank you very much. Still staying with you, looking at the high rate of violence during election period, people are even afraid to go out to vote, resulting to political apathy. Is it right to say thuggery in Nigerian politics is a means to an end, where every politician must rig election and the rest of that? Is it a means to an end?
Yes, the trust has gone so deep. This man is feeling, if I don't rig, that one will do. He feels, I must take advantage. I'll do it first to take advantage over him and the rest. So, you see, unless we go to the basics, as I've been saying, to the root, we'll just do reactive or defensive things. And if these things don't last, it doesn't bring a remedy, it will not last. After a traffic, little people clap at it, it will disappear as soon as. But when we go to the business, we have it the real fabric of democracy, that's the ideology, and project it in line with Nigeria, with our endowments, with our human capacity endowments, the natural endowments, then we solve as a pace. That's what people like China did. You see them, people like South Korea, see them thriving and doing well. And they are contented because they have their own picture of where they're heading to. They've created awareness, sensitize their people to where they're heading to, and they're content with where they're heading to for the meantime.
Okay, thank you very much. So, is it right to say Togri in Nigerian politics is a means to an end?
Well, partially.
Okay.
Partially in the sense that it's something that is a man-made. And if we have the zeal and commitment, we'll overcome it.
Okay.
Because the country is above all of us. And the country is our home. We don't have any home other than Nigeria. So we must have to do everything possible to overcome what will destroy the country.
All right. Thank you very much. And then lastly, what would be your recommendations?
Well, my recommendation is that let the politicians begin to do the needful.
Okay.
Let them imbibe the culture of political ideology instead of using violence means to acquire power.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Lastly, your recommendations way forward.
Yes, I think I put it forward in 2015 to Osibanjo when I met President Buhari 2 months before the elections. When I spoke of economy, how to integrate, diversify, liberalize, and reward the economy, he told me that the vice president will handle anything economy. I should meet him. When I wrote, they invited me to go. So I told them this will establish Nigerian Futurology Institute. And then they should establish a center for the upholding and advancement of the philosophies of Nigerian founding fathers. When we have institutions like that on ground, they will inspire political ideology and will come up with our own picture of what we want to do. And to serve Nigeria, Africa, and if possible, the world as well.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you, gentlemen, for sharing your time and thoughts with us. And that's a wrap on this week's edition of the program. Do join us same time next week for another interesting package. Good day.